I'm sorry I'm late. I was having a nap. Okay, welcome to today's Hooray, It's Thursday Live with Courtney. And we're going to be looking at the meant to be scrapbooking kit. Now, I've done the pages, or I've almost finished the pages, but the pages are on the other table, and that's okay. But what I've got with me is all the leftovers. So you will find that with some of the Stampin' Up kits, there will be some extra goodies. So if you are loving the scrapbooking kits, that's fine. If that's great, and you'll find that you'll have some leftover bits. So I'll show you what I've got here on my table. So with the scrapbooking kit, you'll actually get the instructions for the 3 double-page projects, and you'll get to cut out all of these extra pieces. So I have cut out all of those, and oh, I didn't mean to bring these bits over with me. And I have got all these extra little bits left over. So that's just you get photo placeholders, and that's just a piece of the chipboard from the back. So what I thought I would do was have a look at these and see if we could come up with a card. Now, you could also use the scrapbooking pages as your inspiration. So depending on where you wanted to take this is depending on where you end up. So what we'll do is we'll hit go live over here as well. And that's just going to make some magic happen over there, I think. Maybe not. Okay, I don't know what's going on over there. I'm sure it will come up soon. And if it doesn't, well, then we won't have to worry about it. So the scrapbooking kit has lots of double-page spreads in it. Comes with stickers. Now, when I say I haven't finished my pages, I haven't because I haven't used these stickers. So these are all just little flowers in all different colors, flowers and hearts in all different colors. And then there's actually a sticker sheet. And I haven't finished using all of the ones that I've got on there. Okay, so these little guys will end up on my pages. Okay, the same with these hexagons. But what comes with it in the way of, there's this is bubble bath, double-sided paper. Look, so you can see how it's, well, let me just go back in. You can see this, that's the double-sided paper. The paper has 2, I don't know why that is not working. And you know what? I'm just going to give it up as a bad joke. Because the live video for Instagram is not working, so everybody will have to watch me on here today. So that's okay. So we'll just ignore all of that. The meant to be scrapbooking kit has got bubble bath in it's got the 2-tone paper. So I'll just show you so you can see how you can see one side is darker than the other. Okay, what I did is I don't do pink. So this double page here, I bought a packet of the Old Olive, and I've changed that pink to make it Old Olive. So this is actually my page here. So I've still got to do my journaling, and I've still got to do a few things. I also stamped on it, and that's the other page of it. How good does that look? So we had a white night. All the Stampin' Up staff were in black. Everyone else was in white. So I thought it was lots of fun. But I've just taken out that bubble bath color, and I thought I'd use these pages as my inspiration for my card. Okay. So, but I'm going to use the leftovers. Now, it was supposed to be made on this bubble bath, but I didn't. So I've got it left over. But there is something I want to show you about this 2-tone paper. And I've left my trimmer on the other table. I knew there'd be something I'd forget. So let me grab my trimmer. Gosh, I can't even see it. So I must have left it in such a safe space because I cleaned up everything. and my trimmer and my cleaners were all put away. So what we're going to do is I've brought over the inks at Orca Courtenay. I've also brought over some coordinating pool party cardstock. But we're going to do a bit of chopping first. So with this two-tone paper, oh, I need another table, I think. I really do. I need another table. So we'll make a card. Actually, look, we'll use that. This is a scrap of the two-toned pool party. Now, that's both the same side. And, oh, it's not good. It doesn't. And you can, it's actually quite remarkable, the difference. And we've got all these leftover bits here. So we'll go with that. Okay. There's some stripes. There's some check. There's pink pieces. There's floral pieces. You name it. So let's get some of these bits out of the way. Because I'm going to use that piece. And I'm going to use that piece. And I know I'm going to use that piece. And I might use, where's a little piece of that? A little bit of that. And what's on the other side of you? No, I don't want you. Ooh, do I want you? I'll take a piece of that as well. And a piece going in the other direction. And then I'm just going to put all these over to the side because they're getting in my way now. Okay. So sometimes it's just a matter of working out what you want to play with. And you do end up with quite a few leftover pieces. So without just our regular card size, we're just going to fold that in half. Hi, Chris. How you going? So far, you're the only... Oliver says hello. Oh, she's on the video. So Oliver says hello to everybody. Okay. He's trying to get in because I said hello. You know how it is. Now, this two-toned cardstock is really, really cool. So I'm just going to trim that down to fit where I want it to fit on there. There's lots of different things that you can do with it. You can bend it, you can fold it, you can crush it, you can do all of those sorts of fun things with it. It looks quite amazing if you crush it and then hit it with a sandpaper. But I'm going to send it through the cut and emboss machine with the Forever Plaid piece of cut and emboss folder. So we'll just send that through. Alrighty. So I'm a bit under the weather today, everyone. So I'm a bit not real with it. Now I'm going to use the dark side on top. The top of our it's freezing here too. The top of our embossing folder is the side with the Stampin' Up on it. So if you're actually focusing on a piece and you want a particular side up, you do need the Stampin' Up piece up. This is a big embossing folder, so you could emboss the whole piece, your whole piece of card with this if you really wanted to, because it's actually quite huge. Just about my whole card would, like for my whole card would fit in it. When I say my whole card, I mean this piece here. Like you can fit, look at that. That fits in there. How cool is that? All right. So when you've got this and you've embossed on it, the next thing that you can do, if you've got a sanding block, that is great. But if you don't have a sanding block and you've just got somewhere in your kit a nail file, one boring nail file, you can rub along it with the nail file. A sanding block would work way better, but I don't have a sanding block. And I'm sorry about all the wobbling, but I'm literally just going along, just stressing the top of that because this cardstock that's double-sided, light on one side, darker on the other, has a white core. So you get, when you do that, you actually get a white mess in the middle. But it also means you can actually distress the edges as well so that they match. All right. I'm just using my emery board here like I would a dauber, and just running it along the edges. Okay, and it just provides a little bit of a different texture to what we've got. Okay, it makes it a little bit different. All right. Okay, so I'm actually going to glue that down. That's not the one I want to use, because that is going to be my card, almost like my background. Now you'll notice that it's a bit smaller than what I would normally do, and I've got a bit of a gap over on that edge. Okay, so I'll just glue this piece down. Oh, everything's covered in the fine dust of the paper. Okay, got to hold my tongue in the right spot. Hi Lisa, how you going? Okay, so I've got this like spiny bit here. That is where I'm going to, I haven't decided whether I'm putting this piece or whether I'm putting my bees. Oh, the bees are pretty special. Okay. All right. So we're using the inspiration from the Meant to Be kit. Now, this is not part of the sale. Stampin' Up! Have got that sale on at the moment. Anything in a suite is on sale. When I say on sale, purchase one part of a suite, get the second part 50% off. And they will do the cheapest thing. So if you put in 3 or 4 items, it will take the 2 cheapest. So just get creative with your shopping when you're doing that. So just be aware of it. If you put in 2 suites and then you stick in a packet of designer series paper that's from a suite, it won't take the suite as your second item, the second suite as your cheaper item. It will take the designer series paper as your cheaper item. So just be careful when you're putting things into the cart, that you just need to be a little bit creative with that. Okay, just so that you're aware. And you'll have to excuse me because I do have to keep stopping and wiping my nose because it's running. It got up and wanted to leave town this morning. Okay. So this piece of designer series paper is only on one side. It's plain on the other side, whereas these other pieces are coloured on both sides like our normal designer series paper. And I'm going to get a 1.5 centimetre strip of this one. And I'm just playing some paper piecing with it, essentially. So you don't necessarily have to do any stamping. And I'm just trying to use up what I've got, using a little bit of inspiration from that kit. Okay. So, oh, I love that piece. Look at that. How's those hexagons? Okay, so yeah, so if you're shopping the sale, you do need to get creative. Now, the Stampin' Up! Shipping in Australia is 6% or $6.95, whichever is greater. So if you spend $120, you're going to be getting as much bang for your buck out of your shipping as possible. So if you wanted to put 2 suites in it, in your cart, you can. But if you also were wanting to be a little bit conscious of what you're doing, and you wanted to get some designer series paper and all that sort of stuff from the suites, then you might need to do 2 carts, so that you can actually make sure that you get what you need whilst making the most of that special. Okay, so I'll just do, now I said I was using those 2 pieces of those 2 pages as inspiration. My inspiration was I looked at them and I thought, gosh, that paper's pretty, and boom, I'm done with them now. This does not reflect it in any way, shape or form. So it was all full of squares and whatnot. Okay, now one pretty little card base. Okay, so this set was also complemented with a set of stamps. There's also dies, and I'm sure I've showed you these before, but these are the meant to be dies are all like great big honeycombs. Now, this big one will not fit on a card. It can make a really pretty card, but it won't fit. This says our hive, but we've also got all of our bees and our flowers. So it's up to you what you use in it. It's different. This bee does not fit in the bee punch, the one on here. The bee from the other stamp set, the Valentine's one, fits in the bee punch, but this bee doesn't. These bees are different sizes. So you end up with, if you have both sets, you end up with 3 different size bees. Okay, so just so that you're aware of that. All right. I also brought over with me, this is the greetings for all the mix and match. If you're wanting to make some quick cards, because we're just trying to use up pieces, these are actually really handy for you. Okay, we've got in here, if I remember correctly, it is 2 sheets of each one. Okay, so there's 2 of that, 2 of that. Oh, come on. And my favorite, 2 of that. All right, so you can have lots of fun without actually having to do any stamping on this. So we can turn this into a thank you card very, very nicely and very easily, just by adding this guy here. Okay, and of course every card needs a little bit of ribbon, but you see I've done no stamping yet, but we'll need to do some stamping because we need to do our inside and our envelope. So stamps haven't been negated, they're just moving to the inside and the envelope. Okay, so we will need some ribbon and some twine as well. Gosh, I'm a bit all over the shop here. It's because I'm feeling a bit how's your father, I will admit. All right, I'm just going to pop a little bit of tape there to add my ribbon. Okay. And I'm just going to use that. I know who I haven't seen yet today. She hasn't said hello. I wonder where my auntie Laurie is. I think she's missing us today. Maybe she got a better offer. What do you reckon? And then that's going to actually sit quite nicely over the top there. Still looks a bit not really like me. So we're going to tiz it up a bit. But first I'm going to stick this guy down. And it feels like I'm going to need to blow my nose again. Excuse me. Oh, gosh. All right. Just stick this guy down. Okay, so some nice quick cards with our sentiments already stamped and done for us. Okay, but we still need to do our inside. So I've got my inside and I've got an envelope, and I'm sorry about my snivelling. So this is when I need my hand sanitizer on the table. Okay, so let's pull out our bee stamp. There's also the little flower. Now you'll notice that there is not so you've got this little flower which sort of matches these little flowers, but these ones here in the background more than anything else. Okay, so but there's no stick for our leaves, but that's okay, because what we're going to do is move that up to the top up there. Doesn't have any bling on it yet. Since it's a portrait card, we need to have some portrait there. This color here is Petunia Pop, and it is so pretty. And we've got in here, we've got some Daffodil Delight, which is what I've used for the ribbon, and we've got some Old Olive. And I'm thinking my flowers, because I've got two size flower, I've only got one size flower. So what I'm going to do is I might actually put the bubble bath away, and I'll do Petunia Pop flowers on the inside. So we need a block for our flower. And a block for this here is actually the leaf. And there's a tiny little dot in there as well, which is the center of our flower. So when you're cleaning this, be careful you don't lose that guy, okay? Because it's really easy to do. Oh, thank you, Lisa. All right. Now, my Petunia Pop is a newer stamp pad, so it is really juicy. So I'm just going, and I've got black jeans on, which is to my advantage. I'm just going to give it a bit of a, whoopsie, and I've got it all over my fingernails, a bit of a squelch. And you will want to, look at that, how pretty is that? Oh my gosh, my nose. Needed to stick stuff up it. Remember when you were a kid and used to roll up the tissues and stick them up your nose? Actually, you know what? I actually know who I think might need this card. I got the nicest, prettiest bunch of flowers today. Well, I got a very, very pretty bunch of flowers today. Totally unaware that they were coming, and they're just so pretty. And I think that this thank you card might need to go down there. So I was about to say an unprovoked bunch of flowers, which is not really the right way to put it, is it? An unexpected bunch of flowers. And Lisa that's watching, she often brings me flowers from the garden, which are divine and way better than I could ever grow myself. I'm just putting a little bit of daff in the centers. Fits perfectly, and because they're nice photopolymer stamps, they're easy to see through, so it is all sweet in that respect. Okay, you can get a bit of a production roll up happening here. So if you wanted to make a set, you could make a whole set of heaps of these. And this is actually, I think it also works as part of the bee wing as well. But it's also a leaf as far as I'm concerned. It is today anyway. All right. Okay, a little bit of greenery on there. Do some matchy over here. Just so that, all right. So we can say that we did some stamping. Oh, hello, Cheryl. How you going? Okay. And we'll clean those stamps later. All right. So that's our insides. And that's a very quick, easy cut. All right. So now if we wanted to do something, because there's lots of little scrappy bits I noticed. I got a bit carried away with the glue there, didn't I? There's one card, very quickly. All right. Now, I noticed when I was having a play in the pile, there was lots of little scrappy bits. So we'll come back and we'll just grab a few of these smaller pieces. So there's a little square, there's a little strip, there's another little square. I think there's extra little squares because I chopped them wrong, but that's all right. Where's this? Is there a little piece of the stripe? Okay, they're bigger bits. Oh, look at that. There's a real little bit. Another little square. Another little square. So what you'll find when you do, if you were to buy one of these kits and you did it as per it shows you in the instructions, I'll show you something. You end up with not only all these spare bits that have now just landed on the floor. The reason why you end up with all these spare bits is it actually has a cutting guide in here. So it will tell you what to cut out. So you'll end up with all these little bits left over. All right. So like some pieces, this piece here, we only needed all those little bits. We didn't need of that paper. So we didn't need all this space here. So that's why we've got so much of that one left. Okay. Some pieces you get 2 of, some pieces you only get 1 of. And some of them will tell you to cut, like, so that piece we got 2 of. So we've already cut 2 great big ones, but we only needed that little piece extra. So I've got all of these little spare bits. Okay. So looking at those little spare bits that we've got there, and being inspired by that first one that I showed you, let's grab another piece of cardstock. So we've got that guy there. We can just move him to the side. Another piece of cardstock. Now, you'll notice if you've ever watched any of the videos from the American ladies and gents, any of the American demonstrators, you'll notice their cards are a different size. So they fit, pieces fit a little bit differently. Okay. All right. This one's got better bees on it. And if you don't have the size that you want, nobody said you can't chop them up. Those are both that same size that way. And so is that. Okay. Then I've got this long, skinny piece that's probably not going to be any use to me whatsoever anywhere else. All right. And I've got, what's on the back of you? Oh, look, that piece is better. I actually quite like that. So what we can do is we can bring in this flower stamp again. And I brought over my pool party ink pad. We're going to use these bits this time. And we're going to stamp straight onto our cardstock just because we can. Yep, it's juicy. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that when the air is really moist because of all the rain we've had, my ink pads end up heaps juicier than what they normally are. So they must absorb some of that water. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp. This is called tone on tone stamping. And all I'm doing is stamping some flowers. This is a nice way to make some designer series paper if you haven't got matching designer series paper. I'm not happy about that one. That's better. Okay, so this is tone on tone, and you're just actually changing it. It's almost like it's providing a little bit of texture. Okay, and it's up to you how much stamping you do on it. But I really like it when it's a random nature. And you'll notice even if I stamp only half the flower on here, I still go back and get more ink because otherwise you'll get like a funny edge. Now, because I've done that in that color, I could do it on the envelope to match. Okay, nobody saw that. All right, so I'm just going to do this on my envelope to match. Don't tell Mum, she bought me the top. And to do those edges, we'll just open that up and come back in there, just so we've got an all-round piece. And we'll do the same on the other side. Okay, just so it's got some continuation through. Okay, it's up to you if you pop some on the front as well. And I think that we might need a couple of little blue flowers there, just because it makes them pretty. Okay, so I'm not going to put centers in those ones because it's not going to work to what I'm trying to, the effect that I'm trying to do there. Okay, so I'll put that away. So now I've got my background. I don't particularly like plain backgrounds if I've got a choice. This, instead of doing some embossing on it, we'll just do the pretty colors, like stamped on the background. Now, it's up to you whether, look, you pick the one that makes, like, because this bee makes me happy. He's sitting there smiling. He's going to be my feature bee. I could do it that way if I wanted, but I really like having that extra color. Where's that little piece? And those ones are going in the opposite direction. So that's not, oh, there you are. That one's not going to work for me. So these guys are going to have to go that way. Amanda was with me when I was actually making the scrapbooking pages. So, yeah, and she's like, oh, you've got all this extra stuff left. I'm like, yep, I'm going to use all that. You watch me. Okay. So that little, see, and even that's nice. I actually really like that honeycomb paper. I wish they'd put that on the back of one of the other pieces so that I could have more of that. And you can buy the designer series paper. You can get it with the sticker sheet. So if you're not into scrapbooking, you just want it and the sticker sheet, the designer series paper, you can actually get the paper separate. Right, but I will tell you there is always an exclusive piece in the scrapbooking kits that you can't get anywhere else. Now we do need to make sure that this is the size that we need, so we'll just trim that one down. See, that would work, but it's sort of, it would work, but it doesn't. We'll save that for another one, but we'll just trim this piece down. And I'm not going to bring the trimmer into view this time just because it's sitting quite nicely over here. And I'll just very quickly whip that there, and I'll just make sure I've got it the right size. But you'll notice I've left that little gap, oh, it needs to come a little bit more. I'll just take that off with my scissors. Left that gap around the edges of these ones, so I'm going to leave it around this one as well. Okay, and I'll just put some glue on it and stick it down. But you can see how that stamping in the background's working for us. Now it's up to us what we do next, how we're going to do our sentiment. We're still going to use these sentiments. Okay, and we're going to pop them on and we're going to use the same ribbon. We're definitely not going to use Merry Christmas or Happy Valentine's Day, but we could use the Happy Birthday. Now you'll notice that, or actually let's make it all thank you cards. We'll just use the thank you. All right. Look out, here she comes. Mum and I are supposed to be going out, but I'm feeling a bit under the weather here. So we'll see how we go. If you would like to, you can colour these in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab Where is it? This is Regal's. And that's where our old Olive lives. Okay, so you can use your markers to colour in these letters. Okay, just to add a bit of something different. You can colour them all the same colour. You can colour them all different colours. The choice is yours. But nobody said they have to stay white. Okay, and I don't know about you, but I have to hold my tongue right when I'm colouring. And I'm making a nice big shadow on here. But that's okay. It's the same as on the black and white ones. You can actually colour the white. If you were to colour it in any of our subtle colours, that'd still look pretty amazing. Okay. I'd get up and open my door for my mum, but she's doing it herself because she's $1 million now in comparison to what she has been. All right, so there's the thank. And here comes the U. Around we go. And we're almost done. How good does that look? Okay. Now, where else? There it is there. I actually think it needs a little piece of this behind it. This is all I've got left of that piece of designer series paper. That one's going to work for me. It's such pretty paper, that one. I'll just love it. But look at this. How cute does that look on there? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put that on there, but I need some ribbon. Oh, and a gem. And I'm thinking it needs to be flagged at one end. What do you reckon? So I'll cut a little bit into the inside and into both parts, go into that point there. Okay, and that's going to sit and I'll flag that bit as well. So we'll do both ends to match. Oh, that bit didn't work. Okay, and this piece is going to go on with some dimensionals under it, where they landed. Over here. So yeah, so you can actually have some good fun. You don't need to cut up new bits of paper for everything. I'm going to leave that little bit of a gap there because that's where I'm going to put my piece of ribbon. And we'll do the same sort of thing that I just did before. I'll put a piece of this down, work out where I'm going to put that. I'll put it there. Okay. And the take your pick tool makes this so much easier. Look at that. It just comes off so easy when you do that. And I'll do the same thing that I did before. Up, down, round, around. Okay. And cut it off up there. Looks like there's a big bow underneath it. So yeah, so essentially what I'm saying is have fun. Nothing goes to waste. And make some pretty cards. Now I'm also going to add some, this is quite skinny, so I'll add some of the mini dimensionals to this one. Let's take those backs off. Because then I can pop this bit up as well. And you'll probably need 5, I reckon. What do you think? 5? Or, yep, 5 it is. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 5. And look at that. Okay, and we've still got heaps of pieces left over for more cards, but we need to put an inside in here, and I don't know what happened to my envelope. Didn't anyone see what I did with that? Let's grab out an inside. Okay, and because we did do those little blue flowers here, I'm thinking that I could do the same thing, but I'm not. I'm going to do some more of those pink and yellow ones. So we're going to get out the petunia pop again. Don't know what I did with that envelope. I seriously don't. Oh, there it is. I found it. Stop looking, everyone. Okay, and I'm going to go petunia pop. Again, I'll just do the same as what I did before with the yellow insides. And you can see it's already sucked back some of that moisture again. Okay, so it's actually quite dark now. And then we'll put some Daffodil Delight on that bit on the inside. And then you want to put some gems on these guys, because, you know, everybody needs a bit of bling in their life. All right. And as you can see, with just a little bit of extra cardstock, I've still got heaps more pieces left over that I can make. Now, this one here, I am going to say is inspired by that first layout that I showed you, because I actually really like it. And I think, and then those pieces were left over from it because I actually did some really bad chopping on the day. I wasn't thinking, and I did some wrong cutting, even though it does tell you exactly what to do in the cutting guide. So I've ended up with some extra pieces that were a bit dodgy. So that's 2 cards in less than an hour. That's not bad for me, because normally you only get 1, that look just pretty cute. And they were inspired by this scrapbooking layout here. That's a photo of Virginia and Linda and I on stage. And I just thought it was fun. So yeah, can you see this one? Matches, matchy. Alrighty. So everybody, don't discount the scrapbooking kits. Don't think, oh, I'm not a scrapbooker, it doesn't affect me. They're not for me. Keep your eye out them, because they've got some really pretty paper and they've got some really great ideas in those scrapbooking kits. And you'll notice there's even a new, if you've been checking out if you hit the what's new basket, you'll notice there's even a new kit that's been released that's actually a scrapbooking kit as well, where there's no stamping needed. It's just stick it all together and you're going to have some fabulous pages. All righty, until next week, I will catch you all later. See ya. Bye.